Hello, my little subjects. Heather Blossom here. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Did you think I was dead? Well, yeah, I did die.
And I went to hell.
And while I was burning in my respective pit of despair, I happened upon a very well-known internet tune, Hell of a Boss. I don't have much to say about the series overall that hasn't already been said, but when it comes to individual characters, I can gab a little. Today, I want to talk about every furry's favorite fluffy fuck, Loona, and the chick who could break your dick, Stella. Why at the same time? Because though these characters are received very differently within the fanbase and have had an uneven amount of appearances within the series, I can't help but note how similar their superficial characteristics are. Now, stick with me and think about it for a minute. They both, whether your horny ass wants to admit it or not, are very abusive people. They're rude, pass out insults like it's candy laced with LSD, and have been shown to be physically abusive on occasions when it suits them. And to the Loona defenders, I'm not talking about when she's in a combat situation. We all saw Season 2, Episode 2, and how she shows no hesitation in wailing on Blitz, knowing he won't fight back, all over a small amount of criticism regarding her job. You may say maybe Blitz put it in a very insulting way, as Blitz tends to do, but might I remind you, if you've been watching this series at all, you know Blitz is absolutely enthralled with Loona. She is his adoptive daughter, and he treats her with more courtesy and respect than he does literally anyone else in this show. He's always making excuses for her and is insanely protective. Sure, he lacks tact, but when trying his best, nothing could warrant the beatdown she laid out. Sorry, but your waifu is a literal bitch. Now, Stella has also shown to have this quality, tossing an imp butler in the middle of a debacle that didn't even involve him, and she tried to slap Stolas that one time or whatever. The reason I felt the need to lay these characters out beside each other was not only their similarities, but also because of the obvious difference they have in the perspective of fans. Loona is obviously more popular, more positively received. If I'm being honest, I think y'all really excuse her bullshit way too easily. I'm not saying Stella is a better or even a good person by any means, but when it comes to her, you're in one of three camps. You either A, hate her guts, which is fair to a degree, given the first episode of Season 2 you're kinda supposed to. B, you are a delusional dove who holds out hope her tragic backstory is going to be revealed and erase any and all wrongdoing she's committed. Or C, you're with me and think she's an egotistical psycho bitch that brings a little something refreshing to a world where we don't let assholes just be assholes anymore. There's always gotta be a reason. They're traumatized, they're abused, they can be redeemed, blah blah blah. Yeah, people are complex like that sometimes, but let's not also forget that sometimes people are just crazy bastards who can only get off when someone else is suffering. I guess the real reason I put these two side by side is that they both encompass tropes that stem from similar presentation, but the core of their characterization is starkly different. Loona is similar to a tsundere. Like I said, she's rude, apathetic at the best of times, and prone to hostility at the worst of times. But at her core, which we've been able to get a glimpse of in episodes like Spring Breakdown, we can see she's awkward, lonely, and probably harbors a good amount of insecurities, while in the newer episodes we see she also has the capacity for compassion, but is awful at showing it. I gotta say, I don't think her issues are an excuse. A dick move is a dick move, bro. Contrast to Stella, who harbors all of Loona's worst traits dialed to 11 but hasn't been given any vulnerabilities. She is stone cold. She is mean to a goofy degree. I mean, listen to that line.
I like tormenting you.
Who the hell talks like that? It's almost hilarious. I feel like I'm in the minority here because I think Loona is okay as far as characters go. But it's a character I've seen already and quite often in recent years. And look, I love goth chicks as much as the next person, but mean goth girl with a heart of gold just isn't doing it for me here like it did with Ophelia in The Life of Times of Juniper Lee, or with Joan of Arc in Clone High, or with Raven in Teen Titans, or with Mai in Avatar The Last Airbender, or with Sam and Danny Phantom. Actually, she didn't do much for me. Too preachy. The point is, it's a big been there, done that for me. She gets good lines here and there, but I'm bored, and Stella gives me something I haven't had in a while. An unrelenting evil woman. Now, you may argue that such a characterization would make Stella a very one-note, incredibly unrelatable villain. And to that I say, yeah, that's the whole point. I want her to be evil. That's my favorite part. When I try to think of a straight up evil female character in modern media, it takes me a good minute to think of one. And I mean unapologetically evil. As in there was no justification and they did not go good at any point. I suppose Queen Chrysalis from My Little Pony counts, but MLP was starting to get a nasty redemption habit. I worry they may turn her in the newer generation series in like a comic or something. At this very moment, Stella is my only hope of having a villainess who keeps those malicious intentions pure. Pure evil. Now, Hell of a Boss is ongoing, so this may change. It'll turn out she's sad or some crap which everyone will lap up and adore her for. I guess I'll just have to be prepared for that, but at the very least, I had the moments I do now of her just enjoying being her bad self, which is more than what I can say for Loona. Here's the thing, I've laid out quite a few different things they could do with Stella, meaning there's potential for something outside of my expectations. But Loona, I could almost tell you beat for beat what they'll do with her, and it's not terrible or anything, but right now I'm kinda just waiting for it to fully play out. Like I said, I think her shtick's old. She's funny enough as is, but I find myself just wanting her to hurry up and get all her character development done so we can move on, which isn't a good place to be. The journey is supposed to be the most enjoyable part of a story, but Loona's story is unfascinating, especially compared to the other characters she's surrounded by. I want to explore Blitz and Fizzarolli. I want to know how the M&Ms first hooked up. Hell, I'd rather hear about what Mrs. Mayberry is doing right now, rather than having to watch Loona stumble over her somber demeanor and figure out how to talk to people like people. But in Stella's case, I don't care where she's going. I'm enjoying the ride and she can take her time figuring out what she'll do next. Until then, I'm Heather Blossom, and if you don't like it, go to hell.